Alright, I'm Canyon Glenn. This is growing more with less high pressure aeroponics. So we're about a month in now to this system. It's important to note this is the first test run, right? So I'm really not going for maximizing my growth. What I'm trying to do here is push my limits. Find what the system can take, what it can manage, and then work backwards from there. So I'll kind of go through where we're at now, the things that I'm realizing that'll have to be combated, and some of the things that are working out right. So this water here in the reservoir, this is a month old. And you can see, or maybe you can't, but there's really not any grime in here. It's not really slimy. There's a little bit of particulate from some of the compounds I added. But the combination of this tarp keeping the light out and the clean environment with a little bit of supplement that I added has mitigated all algae growth. However, just this week, so here on week 4, we're starting to see a little bit of traces of what looks like algae growth in this transparent part of the manifold. That's a pretty common issue. I'm not 100% confident that because I did add some supplements to this that you can see here at the bottom that never dissolved in an attempt to lower my pH. It's been difficult finding the right compounds here in Thailand that I'm used to balance my reservoir. So I've been having to try a couple different things that I just find at different markets. This one did not want to dissolve, so I'll have to try a couple different ways to get that to dissolve, or just find a new compound. That compound's actually for aquariums, not hydroponic growth. So let's look up at these plants real quick. All these plants are the same age. You can see the one in the back is doing significantly better than the front two. This one here in the front nearly died in the very beginning. I ended up cutting all the leaves off of him, and he's rebounded quite well. You can see his root growth in here. Not bad. All the nodular development is fantastic. That means that the misting droplets are a very good size when you start getting this nodular development like you see. So he's struggled a bunch in the beginning and has rebounded quite well. I haven't pulled these things out recently, and you can see I'm struggling to get it back in, so I'm not going to pull the other two out because their root nest is even larger. This one got a little bit of trace amounts of root rot. You can see, like I said, I'm really trying to push the limits on this system, seeing what I can get away with. With these high temperatures in Thailand, it's important to figure out what your max temperature can be so you can try to reduce costs everywhere you can. T0, that very first temperature, that is my reservoir temperature. T1, that is the bucket temperature, the root chamber temperature. And T2, that is my ambient air temperature with the relative humidity of this ambient environment right below at 65%. 28 for the roots and 28 for the nutrient reservoir is not ideal, not even close to ideal. They suggest to keep your microbe levels down, algae growth down, to be around the 20 to 18 C mark, which you can see we're about 10 degrees higher than that, and actually it bounces up to about 30 degrees sometimes. I keep the aircon in this room at 28 to 29. So I ended up cutting the roots on this one significantly. So I'm going to turn this down. You can see I can control the pump's timing with these potentiometers I installed for the controller. So I can do intervals of half minutes on and off, all the way up to 45 minutes. So I can turn the pump on for 45 minutes, off for 45 minutes, and anywhere down from that, down to on for half a minute, off for half a minute. I found that the 5 minutes on, 1 minute off seems to be doing a pretty good trick. So here's sneak peek of the roots of this one. Like I said, I trimmed a good 40% of his roots back. It's hard to see in there, but the taproot there in the center, you can see, not really, but I lopped it off. It's a little bit brown on the tip, but everything that was getting slimy, I chopped. One of the significant benefits of an aeroponic system is because you're not dipping the roots into the reservoir and it's not being fed through some kind of net, the NFT system where they're all touching the same water. Root rot doesn't seem to spread as readily. I'm sure it can, but the way I've got it set up here where they're not even in the same root chambers really helps mitigate any kind of spread of the disease like that. This guy in the back, so he's 4 weeks old. He's doing quite great. I'll come around and try not to get any of the shake, the LED shake that happens. And you can see we've got some little flower buds sprouting out there. And this will be a spot for a bucket. That's how I drain them down, right? So there's a hole in the bottom of the bucket. This manifold has misters attached to the ends of it that spray into the root chamber for 5 minutes, and then they're off for 1 minute, and then that water drains back down into the reservoir. This kit here has been rigged up for 6 buckets, but I've only got 5 running right now for testing purposes. I'm going to change the reservoir nutrients now because we're about to go on a little holiday trip. But I'll make a short video while I'm doing that. As of now, this video is getting a bit long, so I'm going to cut it short. But give me a like or a comment if you like it or you have any questions. Let me know. Helps keep me motivated, helps keep me going. And I like to share with everybody and learn what you guys also know. Okay, until next time, Canyon Glen, high pressure aeroponics. Thanks.